playoffs. The old motto says win or go home. But the simpler truth, these players are home. This is where they've grown up.
Jake Withers, one of the best in the country.
The endless hours, the long mornings. These fields mark their years. These games count their seasons. From the first stick they gripped to the last goal they scored.
Around the waist.
Win or go home? No. They're already here.
Salcido with faith and a goal.
They just want to stay a little longer.
Acceleration, domination.
Fields goes behind the back. What a pretty assist.
Reeves gonna dodge. Finds, gets hands free and scores.
There goes Canizero. In front, shot, scores. It beats the buzzer.
Tinney, he's got the goalie here. He's got him. He's got him.
He's got him. Joel Tinney with the hidden ball trick.
Rambo turns and scores. Point number 200.
Ryder Garnsey with the biggest goal of his career.
The journey begins now.
And with that, we welcome you to the first round of the 2017 NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. An in-state rivalry from Denver, Colorado, the 5th seed Pioneers, the 2015 national champions, and the Air Force Falcons from just about an hour down the road in Colorado Springs. The winner of this game is off to Hofstra University next week to get the winner of Notre Dame Marquette. That game tomorrow will be followed in our quadruple header by Albany and North Carolina. And before the game, we were in the Air Force locker room with the head coach of the Falcons, Eric Sarabent.
One last thing, this is a journey, right? Yep. This is not my story. This is not just your story. This is our story, right? It's another day in the journey. Let's get ready to get after it tomorrow as well. Here we go. Here we go, boys. Here we go. Got your back on 3. 1, 2, 3. Got your back.
And we say good afternoon from Denver, Colorado. Kevin Brown with 4-time All-American Sheehan Sandwick Birch. There is a whiff of deja vu in the air for Denver, and the Pioneers are hoping it's only a whiff. Last year they lost to Marquette in the Big East final and lost in the first round to Towson. This year's team lost to Marquette in the Big East semis last week. We hope that they've learned their lesson. If you're a Denver fan, what's the outlook for the Pioneers?
It should be good. I mean, as you said, hopefully they've learned their lesson. Coach Tierney of Denver has excellent success in May, 7 national championships, and he feels like his team's in a good spot. Well,
they're the best face-off man in the nation. That's a good way to start it off. Trevor Baptiste, the first ever face-off specialist nominated for the Tuarton Trophy.
He's absolutely incredible. Winning face-offs at 74%, does an excellent job winning it to himself, and is a threat in transition, 11 points on the season. If the Air Force is going to have the chance, they're going to have to try to limit him somehow and get the ball to make it a 50-50 possession.
And when Baptiste wins the ball, that means Connor Canizero can get to work. Big part of the 2015 national champion and one of the top attackmen of the country.
He was a Tuarton finalist last year, left off the list this year, which may fuel his fire. Excellent goal scorer, so quick, really a leader out there, and has been phenomenal for the younger players on the Tech, really stepping up as a mentor.
So for Air Force, here's the big question. How do you stop that guy? It starts with Brandon Jones. He's a captain as a sophomore, which for this academy is extraordinary.
In a school full of leaders, it shows just how special Brandon is to the team. Does an excellent job. Anchors the number 5th defense in the nation. 25 calls, turnovers. He's got a tough assignment with the Denver offense.
Air Force in the blue, Denver in the crimson and gold white jerseys. This is a rematch of an earlier meeting this year. Denver won in its season opener 14-6. And it is time to play lacrosse. Our referee, Doug Donovan, Peter Buchanan, our umpire, and Dennis Windsor, the field judge. It is Baptiste, number 9, the face-off specialist for Denver, 73.6% on the year. Baptiste against Trent Harper, who's a terrific face-off man in his own right. And it looks like Air Force will come away with the first face-off of the game. So 1 for 1 for the Falcons in that regard. A team that makes the NCAA tournament for the 2nd consecutive year. They won the SoCon automatic bid, 12-5 overall. They've won 5 games in a row. And it is an Air Force team looking for its first quarterfinal appearance in school history. Falcons are working in with Chris Walsh.
Yeah, it's a big win for Air Force to get that first possession, but as Coach Tierney told us, it's not unusual for Baptiste to lose maybe the first couple till he gets in a rhythm. He's excellent at making adjustments.
Air Force 11 goals per game on the year, middle of the pack in the NCAA. Chris Walsh, number 12, is their leading scorer. 62 points, the all-time leading scorer in Academy history. This is Cameron Carter, the sophomore, as the Falcons working around against a traditionally strong Bill Tierney Denver defense. Carter will start from up top. Down the alley and feeds in behind. Falcons winners over Richmond 9-6 last week in Richmond. Claimed the SoCon automatic bid. Here's the first shot of the game. It is knocked away from Cameron Carter, and a ground ball taken by Denver's Jake Nolan. Alex Reddy, the Denver goalie, the sophomore, the netminder for the Pioneers. They were cleared across the midfield line with Tyler Pace. How dynamic can this Denver offense be, not just with Canizero, but with the freshman Ethan Walker?
He's been phenomenal. I mean, they are so tough to stop, do an excellent job in their shooting percentage, very tough to cover, great ball movement.
Pioneers 11-3 this year, 5-0 in the Big East. Again, the loss to Marquette last week in the Big East semifinals in Providence. They had come into that game on a 6-game win streak. Austin French behind the cage. French, number 4, throws it high. And a turnover for a Denver team that had a few too many of those in the loss last week.
The turnover is definitely an area of concern, especially when you're into May play. We'll see it happen right back the other way. Those are just errors that you cannot make, and it's the NCAA tournament time, so jitters can be there, but you have to make sure you clean up that play.
Thrown over the head of Mitch Rose, the senior in net for Air Force, who began this year as a defensive midfielder, and about halfway through the season took over the starting goalie reins, and he has done so more than admirably. Austin French, 21 goals and 16 assists, the sophomore, the third man with Canizaro, number 40, and Walker, 57, the outstanding freshman with 60 points on that top attack line. Tyler Pace in possession right now for the Pioneers. Pace works around his man, shoots it high, and is backed up by Canizaro. Here's the matchup, Canizaro guarded by the sophomore Brandon Jones. Do you expect that to be the primary one-on-one battle?
They'll try to work that as much as they can, Air Force. They'd like to shut Canizaro down. It's very hard to do, tough cover, so they'll see if it works, but he's the top guy for Air Force.
Canizaro on a 55-game point streak, longest in the country. Kept out behind the cage right now and takes the feed from Colton Jackson. Canizaro searching with Jones on him. The roll around for Canizaro, and the shot never made it through. Ground ball picked up by Air Force. Joe Matarazzo, defense admitting for the Falcons, sprints into the box. So for Air Force offensively, knowing especially that you're coming into this game against a team that beat you by 8 earlier in the year, what do you expect the pace to be for the Falcons?
I think they'll try to work the time of possession in their favor. You can only do so when you have Denver in close range in terms of scoring. But I think they'll be very smart. But as we mentioned with Baptiste at the faceoff, you have to value every possession, even more so when you have someone as talented as Denver's Baptiste, because you never know when you're going to get the ball back again. So your goalie's got to play strong. You got to be very smart offensively.
Grant Gould with a quick feed for Jack Flynn, sophomore second-line midfielder. Austin Smith, the captain. Around it comes to Gould. He could not hang out of the pass. Knocked away from him, and the loose ground ball does get picked up by Gould. Colin Squires defensively in the way. And we should mention here, Squires, 39. The freshman is playing because Sean Mayle, the first-team all-conference long stick midi, is out. Suffered a lower body injury leading up to the Marquette game. It's a big blow for Denver. It's one of the reasons why Marquette got him last week. Up top, here's a fake by Flynn.
Yeah, the absence of Mayle is huge.
First shot of the game is in for Air Force's Matthew Schwartz, the freshman with his 12th goal of the season.
This all started with great defense on Air Force's end. Canizaro coming around. Good stop and the transition down. The slide comes in and just quickly ball movement, working that Denver defense. Great placement of the shot.
It's the third man on that attack line, Schwartz. They call him their little jitterbug. On with top point scorers Chris Walsh and Nick Ruby. And here's the first faceoff win for Baptiste. 825th of his career, the 5th most in history. Oh, by the way, he's only a junior. But it's hard to fathom the sort of success that he's had. But when you look at Trevor, when you talk to him, he's such a big, strong, athletic guy that you understand it as he will come off the field here for substitution. Austin French finds Walker, his first shot just wide to the left.
Nice look on Cage.
What do you like about Ethan Walker?
You know, he's just had a phenomenal season. He's really done a great job just getting open to the right spaces, works well within the offense. I mean, when you have Connor Cannizzaro to learn from, he doesn't play like a freshman, that's for sure.
33 goals, 27 assists. Actually, their leading scorer by 3 points over Cannizzaro, who has taken a little bit more of a mentor role. And Tierney told us he sacrificed a few points so the freshman could score some of his. Here's a shot for Planning. Max Planning, the senior from Alexandria, Virginia, with Denver's first. Austin French, the assist as Planning puts in his 2nd goal of the season.
The Denver, the ball movement is so great. Doesn't get stuck in anybody's stick, working it around. Excellent job by Planning. He's got the space to really pick his corner. Look at the room here. The defense just does not get on there. Nice off-stick placement of the shot.
Only 1 goal, 1 assist for Max Planning coming in, but this is his time of the year. He was a big contributor a couple of years ago, and Denver won that national title. A goal and an assist in the quarterfinal win over Ohio State. And the senior has knotted it up early. Baptiste beats Harper for the faceoff. Well, he made it look easy there.
He just has an excellent craft, just does an excellent job winning it to himself. He's so quick on just moving the ball, getting it down transition. You can see how important this is. It's basically make it, take it when he's at the X.
17 years of the Tewaaraton Trophy, 85 finalists. Baptiste is the first one as a faceoff specialist. Around comes Austin French to put Denver in the lead. And back-to-back faceoff wins for Baptiste lead to back-to-back goals. French, who had the assist last time, puts it through.
It starts when they win the faceoff for Denver, and French just does an excellent job working his man, comes around, ambidextrous shooter, gets his stick low, opens himself up. You can see the defender, he's behind him right now. It's exactly what you want as a shooter. Get your hands free.
170-pound sophomore from Danville, California. 22 goals, 17 assists for French now in the year.
He's done an excellent job shooting 53% on the season, which is amazing.
And Baptiste, another one-on-one face-off win. No help from the wings. He's doing it all himself early. Walker guarded by Nicholas Accardi, the senior. As Denver, they can do this to you. They can grind out possession after possession with Baptiste's success. Nearly 74% of his face-offs, and he has won 3 in a row. Danny Logan, the freshman, is on right now for the Pioneers. Short stick defensive midi will head to the other side of the field. Colton Jackson, first team Big East midfielder, number 10. Sort of play that when we talked to Bill Tierney, we said, who do the coaches know, maybe that the fans don't, as one of your key contributors? He pointed out Jackson, number 10 right now near the crease. Donahue down the alley. Cannizzaro stumbles and gets the ball back, again hounded by Jones. This is Connor Donahue, second team Big East midfielder. Ahead for Jackson. Jackson around the long pole, off the outside of the pipe. And out of bounds it will be Air Force ball. So look at Eric Saramet, the 9th-year head coach here at Air Force. He has a little bit of history with Bill Tierney as a player. Obviously, as a coach, the two have met off time and time again. Eric was part of the 1992 North Carolina team that lost to Bill Tierney's Princeton Tigers. The year before, Saramet and the Tar Heels were 16-0 national champs in '91. And what a wonderful job he's done with this program. Andrew T. who had a hat trick in the SoCon final. The short stick got him. Christian Thomas. This is thrown through. Teen has space. Fakes his way in, and the save made. Point blank by Reddy. Austin Smith, the ground ball to keep it with Air Force. How important is Nick Reddy if Denver needs to go on another championship run?
Let's take a look at the replay here. Defense was a little off balance. He did an excellent job pressuring out, but left Air Force wide open for that shot. Big stop by Reddy.
And a turnover taken by the pole of Jake Nolan. Nick Phillips. This is where Walker is so dangerous. And will slow it down for the Pioneers, who have scored the last 2 goals, planning the first and French the second. Right now it's a second midfield for Denver. Quinn McCone, Connor Flynn, and Planning. 18 and 22. Pioneers will run 3 midfield lines. McCone, the sophomore from California, with a goal on the year. It's a screen for Walker.
Lefty, top side, bro.
French hit up high, did not draw a flag. Walker in front, quick stick French, yes indeed. Second goal for Austin French and a nifty feed from Walker.
Ball movement has been spectacular for Denver, working the entire defense. Great play, Canizero gets it behind. Walker with the quick pass, and French with a beautiful finish with a quick stick.
The NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships is presented by Northwestern Mutual. We help you live life differently. And in part by 84 Lumber. Ready to build you? 84 is hiring. Apply online. And the all-new 7-seater Volkswagen Atlas.
3-1 lead for Bill Tierney's Denver Pioneers. 8th-year head man at DU, 33rd-year legendary coach, who has seen this Air Force team once this year. Back on February the 11th in the season opener between the two teams, Trevor Baptiste dominant, 15 for 18 in faceoffs, plus this goal. Nate Morano scored as well for the Pioneers. Connor Canizero, 4 goals, 2 assists, and the freshman Ethan Walker with a hat trick in his Denver debut. 14-6 the Pioneers. That was February 11th. This is not February 11th, Sheehan Stenberg. For 3 months after that, it's May the 13th. How much does that game matter now?
Not much. I mean, it gives you some fuel to fire for Air Force, realizing that they lost, didn't put on the great showing. But when we talked to Coach Saramet from Air Force, he said that this team has drastically changed. They're playing with a different goalie, a different guy at the faceoff. So many pieces have changed. And for Denver, they got a lot of, coming off that Marquette loss. That is huge, losing the conference championship. So it's a clean slate once you hit the NCAAs.
Well, you mentioned the goalie change. There he is, number 10, Mitch Rose, senior from Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania, who was recruited as a goalie, came here, though, and ended up playing defensive midfield. As Eric Saramet told us, we like to utilize our talent as much as we can in any spots. And Paxton Boyer, the freshman, started the year. They felt Rose gave him a better chance. He asked the coaches if he could get a shot. In the Jacksonville game on March 25th on, he's been the guy.
He has, and he said the defense has responded really well. He's very vocal in cage and just does an excellent job directing the defense. And part of that, he thinks, is because his ability when he was playing as a practice player, as a short stick defensive midfielder, that really helped him see the defense and understand it more.
Rose watching French now, who has 2 goals and an assist. The sophomore number 4 has contributed to all 3 Denver scores. There's Connor Donahue. He'll work his way around the long pole of Jeremiah Hemme. 6'5", that is an exceptionally long pole. Hemme 0 for Air Force from Louisville, Kentucky. Has bounced away from Colton Jackson, who recollects. As you might expect with the Air Force Academy, it's a team that has players all over Maryland, Texas, Minnesota in the attack. Ohio, Maryland, California as the 3 starting midfielders. And those all the way in Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania. The longest distance is Nicholas Accardi, 31 on defense. He's from Rocky Point, New York, about 1,900 miles from here in Colorado. Connor Donahue. French, the facilitator. Canizero thought about a shot. And the shot clock is on for the first time today. 30 seconds. In front, Walker denied. Oh, Rose got in the way and took away what looked to be a sure goal for Walker.
Beautiful vision for Canizero, but excellent job for Mitch Rose, just standing tall, coming up with that save.
Doesn't look like he's only been playing goalie for a month and a half, does he? What a save by Rose. 504 save percentage coming in, 7-2 for the Falcons down the stretch.
Take another look, just excellent job reading that shot, the quick clear out. I love Saramit's viewpoint, though, when you have players buried in the depth chart that utilize in different ways, get them onto the field and play, and he wanted to make an impact, went in the coaching's office and asked for a look at goalie, and he proved his point.
Falcons are moving it quickly now, part of a motion offense that Eric Saramet drastically reworked right before the season in February. So they were working on something all off season. They just realized they didn't have the personnel that fit, so it's more of a free-flowing, less structured offense now. And it's led the Falcons to their 2nd straight tournament. Nifty dodge here and a score. It's Grant Gould, the junior, with his 25th of the year, and that stops a 3-0 Denver run.
Much needed goal scored for Air Force. This is probably the best their offense has looked this game. Moving the ball well, dodging, just excellent job, just getting space, getting a good look in the cage. We're 3 o'clock here now in Denver time, and the sun is at an interesting spot in the sky. Could be an issue for the goalkeepers.
And for those back east, don't forget we're on Mountain Time here. Game started at 3 local. You saw an entire table of sunscreen out in front of the Air Force locker room. Well done, have to lather up. Is it the goalies that affects most, you think, the sun right now?
The passes can be an issue for some of the players on the field, but definitely the goalies. I mean, they really have to see. As a player, you can kind of position yourself. If you can't see the ball, you should not be asking for the ball. The goalies, they really have no choice.
Another face-off win for Trevor Baptiste. He's midfielder of the year. Denver has dominated in that category earlier. 5-1 with the face-offs and 5 in a row for the Pioneers. Really wide spacing right now for Denver. Pioneers who have Matt Brown in control of the offense. 11th year assistant here at Denver, 2005 graduate. You hear a lot about Matt Brown's offense and the way it flows. What does it mean to you when you think of a Matt Brown coach Denver team?
Really just lots of movement, whether it's screens, picks, just lots of people moving the ball, unselfishness, working it around.
Donahue and his shot knocked away, and then Rose comes up with a big save on the whip from French.
And lots of shots. This Denver offense likes to shoot.
Pioneers 6th in the NCAA, nearly 13.5 goals per game. Among tournament teams, only Albany and Penn State have scored more, although the Nittany Lions had just 8 today and a loss to Towson. It's the 3rd game in our quadruple header. Towson beating Penn State on the road in the 1st game. Duke, the road team, knocked off Johns Hopkins in the 2nd. Denver hoping to stop the bleeding for home teams here in the 1st round. They have that fabulous nightcap, Albany, North Carolina, coming up after our game. The defending champs on the road in Albany.
Air Force playing a man-to-man defense. One of the keys that they thought was going to be to stop Denver is to get on the players' hands so they couldn't really pass inside, pressure out.
Canizero pressured by Jones. That shot gets away. It is backed up by French. What do you think of this man-to-man style so far?
Well, it's slowing Denver down right now, and I don't know if that's by design of what Denver wants to do, working the ball. It's a nice long possession.
That's the end of an exciting first quarter of lacrosse. Air Force had the bookend goals. Denver with a 3 sandwiched in between. 2 goals and an assist for Austin French. Pioneers hoping to avoid another first-round flameout, leading by 1 at home. Tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, 1:30 Mountain on ABC. The Warriors and the Spurs game, one of the Western Conference Finals, presented by Verizon Wireless. Countdown crew gets it all started 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, and both streaming live on the ESPN app. And watch ESPN. Warriors 8-0 in the playoffs right now. This will certainly be their toughest test to date. Kevin Brown, Sheehan, Stanwick, Birch. Your keys to the game so far, Shane, what do you got?
Well, for Denver, Baptiste at the faceoff, and he's been excellent so far, winning 5 out of 6. And attack as usual, this Denver offense, number 7 in the nation shooting with 34%. Denver has the advantage this game. They're a bit under that shooting percentage. And Air Force, they've got to be thrilled with having a 1-goal game headed in second quarter. Win ground ball battle. If they're not going to win the faceoffs, you're going to have to come up with some extra possessions, whether that's saves or cause turnovers. And then they're going to need to have their goalie, Mitch Rose, have a huge game in goal. Double-digit saves.
All right, it's now 6-1 Denver in faceoffs. It's 7-4 Denver in ground balls. Yet Air Force is only down 1. Why?
They should be thrilled. Just put Denver shooting. Just when even though the faceoff doesn't guarantee a score. So 11 shots in the day for Denver, 3 goals scored, and an opportunity for them to improve.
Three-2 lead for the Pioneers, the 5th seed. In the first round of the NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championship, Kevin Brown, 4-time All-American, Sheehan, Stanwick, Birch. Austin French, 2 goals and an assist for the Pios in that first quarter. Max Planning has 1. Matthew Schwartz, Grant Gould have the tallies for Air Force. Denver in the crimson and gold, works it down low, and the shot goes wide from Tyler Pace. Race to the ball, a dive from the Air Force defenseman Roland Wheeler, and it will stay with Denver. Connor Donahue, the junior, trigger from behind the cage. Donahue dances around. Oh, Connor Donahue! Nifty move for a Denver goal.
Donahue from behind, nice matchup here, gets a step, backhanded shot. Excellent placement. Don't think Mitch Rose was expecting that at all. Just great placement of the shot and understanding he had to step on his defender.
21 points for Donahue, who really grew into a key contributing role at the end of last season. Found himself in the Big East second team this year, and he is part of that terrific first midfield for Denver. Josh Rajitovich, the second faceoff man, is out for Air Force now, as Baptiste has won 6 in a row against Trent Harper, and Baptiste comes up with this one. Baptiste will take it in on the feed. Long pole shot is wide from Colin Squires, backed up by Denver.
You just see how dangerous Baptiste is there, being able to win the possession, comes down, can dish it off, good scoring opportunity, and then Denver gets another chance.
What are you seeing so far with him on the faceoffs? Why is he winning so many?
He's just so fast. I mean, it's hard to tell what he's doing, but just does an excellent job. He's so strong in there. No one's been able to figure him out. And what I think is so interesting is since day one, he's never had to learn this position. He came in and he's gotten better. His coach has said, you know, he's had to work on his craft, and he's a tireless worker out there. But he's been in the conversation for one of the best players in the nation and being such an impact player since he stepped onto Denver's field.
He's won 10 or more faceoffs in all 49 of his games coming into today. He told us yesterday he had played everything on the field, but he was never a faceoff man until his sophomore year of high school. His coach said, you know, I think you'd be good at it. He took it over, and his face-off win here leads to a goal from Jeremy Boucher. 8th goal of the season for the junior from British Columbia.
Denver is feeling it offensively. Just great job by Boucher here, getting a little step into the inside. The placement of the shots is key, the non-stick side. Good looks here. The slide's a bit slow for Air Force. Got to come in faster, try to shut them off. And if you told me that Connor Cannizzaro would not have a point at this point of the game, I'd be very surprised. But this is great news, actually, for this Denver team. You don't want to have all the pressure on one person. And obviously, the focus defensively is always trying to shut Cannizzaro down. And other people stepping up is a great thing.
Now, Bill Tierney told us when we talked to him earlier in the week as well, that if there's something that can go wrong with Connor Cannizzaro sometimes, it's that he cares so much. Sometimes he tries to put the team on his shoulders. He must love this. The fact that Cannizzaro has not scored, and yet the Pioneers lead by 3 as we get a violation. Beg your pardon, a timeout taken by Air Force. First one of the half for Eric Saramet and his Falcons, with possession down 3 here in the first half. On the sideline with the Air Force Academy, a team that is as close as any that you'll find here in college lacrosse, a team that really came together for head coach Eric Saramet a few years ago. They were bonded by tragedy. October 5th of 2013, Eric was driving, he and his wife Sonia, his 2 kids, on a family trip, swerved off the road. His wife Sonia killed in a car accident, a single car accident. Eric said that year was, as it turned out, the year he did the least amount of coaching. His senior class picked him up. They ended a 25-year tournament drought. They became, he said, sort of surrogate fathers to his daughters, Annabelle and Amelia. And 4 years later, she and they are still as close as any team could be.
Such a tragic story, but just shows, how important team is, and especially at these military academies, they bonded together, a real kind of brotherhood. And after the breakup, each huddle, we heard it in the open in their locker room, they all chant, "Got your back," and that stems from after that horrible tragedy.
Well, we're certainly thinking about Sonia, especially on this Mother's Day weekend. And the Falcons keep her and that family in their thoughts every time they break the huddle. Air Force back on offense after the timeout. Falcons down 3 here in the second period. The goals have come from Matthew Schwartz and Grant Gould. Chris Walsh and Nick Ruby held to just 1 combined assist so far, the top 2 scorers. Gould will work it from up top. Draws a short stick at Thomas. Mr. Thomas, a redshirt senior. There's a check from Dylan Gaines, who knocked down Walsh, but legally so. Now behind Carter. Gould trying to take it down the alley, again cut off by Thomas. No clean looks in this possession for the Falcons. On the dodge, here's his shot to score. It's Cameron Carter, a sophomore from Baltimore, with his 11th of the season.
Carter was transitioned from a midi, from an attackman. We had a perfect view here, right behind him from where our booth is. Saw him coming down. That top left corner was wide open. Great placement of the shot. Excellent finish for Carter.
Eric Saramet couldn't have said enough good things about Cameron Carter. Loves the way he can dodge and separate and attack down the alley. Exactly what we see as Carter picks up his 22nd point of the year. Again, Rajinovic, who won the last one against Baptiste, fights.
This is what Air Force needs, make it a 50-50 ball. Cannizzaro is able to come up with this one.
But you like the fact that they jarred it loose.
Well, if you're going to have a chance against Baptiste, he's done an excellent job winning it to himself. So you got to get it out to the wings, make him try to push it out somehow so other players can come in and try to get the ball.
Denver team in its 8th straight NCAA tournament. One of 6 teams with a streak of at least 8 active. On their first title 2 years ago over Maryland, 10-5 in that game. And they've been to the championship weekend, the Final Four out of the last 6 years. Last year, a notable exception with a 10-9 loss at home to Towson. Canizero still scoreless. Brandon Jones has done a nice job individually defending him. Denver has spread the wealth. On the touch, Quinn McComb. Canizero from French. In front, Walker, low angle shot, knocked aside. And Walker will back up his own miss. Second midfield now at planning, the first goal scorer for DU. It's Flynn, well defended. Walker. Tiptoeing around the back of the crease. Walker, no opportunity to flip in front.
But Canizero was open in the middle.
Walker missed him with Sean Levine defending, the junior from Boulder. Canizero now behind the net. Shifting around the screen, Canizero threw it behind his head. Wide of the net once again. See Canizero shift to a few different positions on this possession for Denver. Motions toward the net now as Walker operates. Here is Canizero. Dodging back, Canizero looking for a step on Jones and high and wide.
He's gotten free when he's operated from behind the cage. So shifty back there.
Shooting percentage not as high this year, Canizero. 36 goals on 126 shots coming in. The shots right now are 18-5 in favor of Denver. Again, there are a lot of lopsided numbers here. Shots, face-offs, ground balls. For this to only be a 5-3 game. Walker with a one-hand grab from Planning, and his shot goes wide. You okay with some of these shots if you're Air Force?
If you're Air Force, you're happy they're not scoring. I mean, you're getting them, pushing them off to some lower angles, but a lot of these shots, to be quite honest, I think Denver should be really converting on. That they are shots that they don't want to just take for granted that they can get another possession. Get better looks on cage. A lot of them are going high and wide, maybe shoot some low.
So first midfield again. Pace, Jackson, Donahue. Denver will run with the three attackmen today. Their fourth attackman, Colton McCaffrey, who was banged up all week, he is out. So you would likely see Nate Morano in case there was an injury up top, a problem that Bill Tierney is hoping not to have.
Denver's had some long possessions on offense, really wearing down the Air Force defense. Nice grab there by Jones.
Just took it right away off the feed from Pace. And it turns out to be an excellent defensive possession for Air Force. The second Denver turnover. Rose will take it up on the clear.
Jones leads the team in cause turnover. Just great job with his stick, grabbing that, controlling it.
It's his 26th of the season. He's a crown ball leader as well. And again, a captain as a sophomore. Now, the academy, Eric Sermon says, doesn't love the idea of sophomores being captains. So internally, they call him an assistant captain. But the team voted. They voted for Austin Smith, the senior, and they voted for Jones. What he has, Eric told us, is street cred. All-American sort of kid who's caused turnover leads to this for Air Force. Trying to work it in front, the ball deflected away. Ground ball picked up by Denver. Danny Logan in one motion sweeps it up. Logan 7 goals on the year, takes it right in cage. It will stay with Denver.
He wanted that shot. You could see and motioning that he wanted to take that to cage. 20 shots on the day for Denver. Air Force just with 5.
Canizero, save made by Rose. Tough angle shot there for Canizero, who is still scoreless. And Rose is hounded right now. Finally gets rid of the ball. The hard ride came from Canizero. Roland Wheeler moves it across for Air Force. The Falcons 1-4 all time in the tournament. And they will go man up for the first time in this game. Schwartz was tripped up. And the Falcons will have the extra man opportunity, trying to cut this to a 1-goal game.
Personal foul, 11 white. Trip, 1 minute. 11 white. Trip, 1 minute.
He'll get called for the tripping foul. Just watch, stick goes right between the legs. Good call there by the officials. Huge opportunity now for Air Force. As you said, first penalty we've seen all game long.
And it's Jake Nolan with the trip. So the Falcons will work around the offense here, 6-on-5. Air Force on the man up this year, just under 40%. 22nd in the country. But they go here, it's Gould. Back for Teen. Midway through this man-up opportunity, Walsh darted to cage, but wasn't found. Now the pass in front is taken away. Ground ball scooped up by Dylan Gaines as Denver looks to kill the man-down situation. And here's the clear for pace. What did you see there from Denver defensively?
You know, they just did. I just think it was a poor execution, really, for Air Force on that. Force inside. I don't know if the pass was really there.
Pioneers are back to even strength. And no shots on goal for Air Force on the first man-up opportunity of the game. French. This Denver team has dominated possession here in the second quarter in particular, and at large in the first half. It's Pace flipping it back. Canizero sees an opening, and Walker slams it home. First point for Canizero, first goal for Walker. 34 on the year for the fabulous freshman.
Excellent vision for Canizero. Gets it up top to Walker. He's got all the time he wants. Great placement. Almost like this Denver offense kind of lulls you to sleep. They've had some long offensive possessions, and then they start swinging the ball. Completely spins the defense and great opportunities.
Shit, I may be no lacrosse expert, but that strikes me as a defensive breakdown for Air Force. When you leave 57 about 15 yards away from anybody in blue.
I would agree. He's definitely a point of focus for opposing defenses. And a big score, especially for a freshman coming into this tournament. Coach Tierney said that there might have been some nerves. He had an excellent season so far, but noticed some nerves in the Marquette loss. And coming in today, it's great to get a goal under your belt.
And Canizero has extended his longest active streak of any player, 56 games in a row with a point for the two-time first-team All-American. Coverage of the NCAA Lacrosse Championships will continue next weekend with the men's lacrosse quarterfinals next Saturday, May 20th at 12 Eastern, 10 Mountain on ESPNU. For more information, log on to ncaa.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Winner of this game is off to the quarterfinal round. Got the winner of Notre Dame and Marquette. That game at noon tomorrow. The winners of those two will face off next week on Long Island at Hofstra University. The face-off win for Denver as French spins his way to Canizero. 9 face-offs won by the Pioneers already. 9-2 in that category. Here's Tyler Pace. 84 goals in his career for the senior. Will try his luck. The save was made by Rose. It's loose in front and flipped behind the net. And a Denver player in the crease will give it back to Air Force. So under 3.5 here in the first half. The Falcons with the ball down 3. Are you looking for a particular player offensively of your Air Force?
You know, I think you need to get your big guys involved, Ruby and Chris Walsh. You know, offensively just only able to generate 5 shots on the day for them. They need to just generate better looks, more looks. It was only a 3-goal game, which is completely in reach.
It's an Air Force team that again lost 14-6 here to Denver on February the 11th. That was after the Falcons had knocked off Duke in their season opener, their biggest win of the year. Ended the season winning 5 in a row. They lose a ground ball here to Christian Bergdorf, the senior captain for the Pioneers. Bergdorf knocked to the turf as he got it away. It's Thomas on the clear. And a 0 from French. And Denver will slow it down under 2.5. Try to take the air out of the ball here at the end of the half.
It seems that some of the possessions have kind of slowed it down, working in, making sure they get the right personnel on the field. And then when they make the decision that it's time to go, then the ball movement starts going and the people movement, everyone's setting picks.
Third midfield line here, Reed, Boucher, Morano. Joe Reed, the junior from California. Reed gets a step. Back to Canizero. Walker hit up high. And Rose gets the takeaway for Air Force. Canizero chasing Rose down from behind. On this Air Force clear attempt as we tick down 90 seconds of the first half. Falcons just 2-18 all-time against this Denver team. The first meeting between the two in the NCAA tournament. You see the top 8 teams, then the next 9, including the 2 of the play-in game, are given some geographic credence as well. That's largely why Air Force is here. These 2 the westernmost schools by about 1,000 miles in Division I men's lacrosse.
Just about an hour drive. We've got a great crowd here. 23rd sellout for Denver Lacrosse this season.
Peter Barton Lacrosse Stadium, which seats 2,000. Eric Saramet said you might as well play this in Falcon Stadium. It sold out so quickly. That one seats about 46,000.
What is selling? Like 15 minutes though? Was that so quick?
The general on sale Wednesday, 15 minutes or so it sold out. Actually have some fans up on the hill to our right today.
Beautiful day.
Listen, if they put our monitors and our camera out on the hill, I'd sit there. I'd call the game from out there. 15 seconds here in the first half. Air Force holding for the final shot. And they may not get it. Ground ball is loose with 7 seconds. Taken by the Pioneers. See if they can get one more fling at the net. It is taken away by Air Force. And the final shot goes well high. Denver dominates faceoffs and possession and leads 6-3 after 30 minutes of quarterfinal lacrosse. It's only 1 point for Connor Canizero, only 1 point in the game. Bill Tierney has to be thrilled, though, with this effort, doesn't he?
I mean, they're up right now. I think he'd like to see some more goal scoring and a little bit more comfort level. Denver's definitely dominated the game, but it's only a 3-goal advantage for them.
Coming up in the half, highlights from wins earlier today for Towson over Penn State and Duke over Hopkins, plus analysis of the first half here in Denver, Colorado. It is a 6-3 lead for the Pioneers, the number 5 seed in this first round. Denver in search of another trip to the quarterfinals. Back at the half when we return on ESPNU.
This halftime report is brought to you by the all-new 7-seater Volkswagen Atlas.
University of Denver here in beautiful Colorado, a 6-3 lead for the Pioneers of the half over the Air Force Falcons in this first round of the NCAA Lacrosse Tournament. Kevin Brown, Sheehan, Stanwyck, Birch. So it's 23-5 in shots. It's 9-2 in faceoffs. It's only 6-3 in goals. Denver has dominated just about every facet of the game, but Air Force is all within striking distance.
They definitely are. A 3-goal lead does not feel that comfortable. Denver needs to improve on things, most notably probably their shots and converting on them. They've got lots of opportunities, but if they want to advance and really have success, they're going to need to do better. Air Force started this game out strong and really hung tight. Their first goal of the game, but Denver, when their offense was working and the ball was moving, just great shot there by Austin French. Canizero, who's been held scoreless, did have an assist, not being able to connect to the back of the net. Another French goal there. Finally, Canizero behind the cage to Walker with a beautiful finish, but once again, 6-3 lead against Air Force. On paper, all the stats favor Denver, but Air Force is within striking distance.
Great day for that young man, Trevor Baptiste, the Tuarton finalist. He's dominated the face-off circle. Pioneers up 3 at the half.
This halftime report is brought to you by the all-new 7-seater Volkswagen Atlas.
Welcome back to the first round of the 2017 NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championship, presented by Northwestern Mutual. Folks here call it the lacrosse capital of the West. Peter Barton Lacrosse Stadium, a sellout today. 2,362 fans to see Denver lead Air Force by 3. Time to take a look now at Northwestern Mutual's planning for success for the second half.
Just look, Baptiste just excels at being able to place the ball in a position for either him to win it, which starts automatic offense. And so many of those face-off wins transition down to good looks on cage. His strength, his just ability, keen awareness of the game, and positioning of himself, and also, oftentimes you'll see him tell his wing players where to go, either to place the ball somewhere that he can get it or in position to give them the ball.
Denver has won 9 face-offs so far out of the 11 in the game. Baptiste has taken them all. He's at 833 in his career. He's a Tuarton nominee. He told us he found out in unusual fashion. He and some Denver players earlier in the week were making phone calls to season ticket holders, which clearly worked with the sellout today. And he got a call back from a New Jersey number. He said, this is strange that I'm getting a New Jersey number to call back. And he found out it wasn't a Denver season ticket holder at all. It was a member of the Tuarton committee telling him he was one of 5 finalists for the award. First face-off specialist ever in the history of the Tuarton Award to be nominated. And if there's going to be one, why not the guy who's won 74% of his draws?
I mean, he can carry, and especially if they go far in the tournament, just a game changer. See him win another one. I love that he answered the phone. I mean, if I'm making phone calls to ticket season holders and I get a random number back, wow.
And Baptiste buries it for Denver. Wing up a 7th for the Pioneers.
His 12th point of the season, and a goal like that just shows why that Baptiste is a real contender to win the Tuarton this year. He does an excellent job, not only just garnering the possessions, but he's a threat in transition, dished out a couple of assists, but also can go to goal. He practices his shooting, he looks around, excellent placement of the shot. Wide open. I mean, and then the other opposing defenses know. They know that he may look to go to cage, so defensively you have to be aware that when he gets ahead of steam, somebody's got to slide to stop him.
And there's Proud Pops Leon Baptiste all the way from Denville, New Jersey, where Trevor's from. So, you wouldn't have answered the phone because you're just that good if you're Trevor Baptiste?
I mean, what are you going to say? Who are you? But I'm sure he was glad that the Tuarton phone call didn't go to voicemail. But I'm impressed. I'd love to know what he answers all the random phone numbers.
He's a telemarketer's best friend, Trevor Baptiste. Here he is again. Maybe number 2. Baptiste will take it and bounce it low. That is, I think, the lacrosse equivalent of a heat check right there from Baptiste. Ball out to midfield, the ground ball won by Air Force. Here the Falcons unsettled, trying to get the goal right back. It's Walsh on the dodge inside, the leading goal scorer. It is well defended as Denver settles down the deep. Only 1 assist for Chris Walsh, their leading point scorer in the first half. Nick Ruby, 35 goals. He did not have a point either. How do you get them involved if you're Air Force?
You need to not turn the ball over. They've had some costly offensive possessions where they didn't get a shot on cage and just turn the ball over with an errant pass or just a turnover on the inside. So smarter possession-wise and really work hard. I think their motion looks good. It's just getting more looks on cage. But again, just a point in case right there. Just got to be safer with the ball.
Andrew T. and simply an unforced error on that low pass. Alex ready to clear for Denver. Air Force has put 4 on goal, 3 in goal, so their shooting percentage has been terrific. Denver 25 shots, 13 on net. And the ground ball won by Danny Logan, who leaves the field for the Pioneers. Connor Canizero just 1 point in the first half. Austin French was the offensive leader, 2 goals and an assist, number 4 for Denver. Goal and an assist for Ethan Walker, 57. French the sophomore and Walker the freshman. Canizero will lead this team at the end of this year. This is his final home game. Those two certainly portend a bright future for the Denver attack over the next couple of years. And this is Canizero scoring high past Rose. His first goal, number 166 in the decorated career of Connor Canizero.
Unbelievable angle here for Canizero. He's done a great job. He's had 6 shots on the day. This is the first one he's able to connect on. I love that he's taken different scoring opportunities. There's probably like 4.5 inches of room right there between the goalie's helmet and the pipe, and he does a great job of finding the seam. But I love that Canizero, he could be frustrated. A lot of teams, players would take the same shot over and over again, just keep trying to work things. He's put himself at different places of the field trying to attack the defense different ways. This one, different shot than we saw in the first half, and finally he's able to finish.
And here's another face-off win for Baptiste. He'll score another! Baptiste is burying the Falcons. Three goals to start the half in just 2:15. And a timeout called by Air Force.
Denver finally building some separation. Baptiste with another win. Explosion offensively. And talk about mixing it up. His first goal was scored low. This one he places high. Great placement, picking of the corners. And he started this third quarter off with a bang. Second goal of the day today.
And there's Mom Dina on Mother's Day weekend. Leon and Dina are loving this cross-country trip. Pio's up by 6. Tomorrow night, 6:30 Eastern, ESPN will be in the Bronx for Derek Jeter night at the stadium. Number 2 has his jersey retired and his plaque in Monument Park as the Astros and Yankees battle on Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. Available on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Speaking of terrific players from the tri-state area, 2 goals in 12 seconds for Denver. 3 goals here in the second period. Trevor Baptiste has taken over.
It is simply just make it, take it with him winning. I mean, for Air Force, yeah, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. And right now, Denver has come out very strong, exploded, and quickly righted the ship in terms of their shooting percentage. 27 shots, now they've got 9 goals scored on those 27 shots, and Baptiste has been, you can see the emotional charge he gives the team, a real leader for them.
Talking to Trevor and Connor Canizero yesterday and asked who is the emotional leader of this team, and Connor was quick to point to that man right there, number 9 in crimson and gold. He's now won double-digit face-offs in all 50 games of his Denver career. He's on pace to set the all-time record. There's a long way to go, obviously, as a whole another year of college. But here is another face-off win by Baptiste, and he does it in the blink of an eye.
Really honed his craft in the face-offs in high school. Didn't really start playing lacrosse till later. Was a very skilled swimmer, which is, I can't imagine him in the pool. Junior Olympian swimmer.
Yeah, right until about age 14, he said then he hit that burnout factor. He had swum so much that he started to plateau. But he was an excellent swimmer as a kid back in Morristown, New Jersey. And luckily for Denver, I think it's the best burnout ever for this Pioneers team.
And he committed to Franklin and Marshall. Wasn't expecting to play Division I lacrosse, and Denver ended up looking for a face-off guy. Made some phone calls. Baptiste was recommended. He made a late visit March of his senior year, and there she wrote.
He has dominated the face-offs once again today. Denver has won every face-off in this second half. 13-2 for the game. Winner of this game gets Notre Dame or Marquette. Irish and Golden Eagles will play tomorrow at noon, the first of another quadruple header tomorrow. This is game 3 of 4 today. Soon wins from Towson and Duke on the road. North Carolina and Albany to follow us in what I think we can reasonably say is the most anticipated game of this first round.
I mean, already so exciting. This season has been unreal. With on any given day, any team can win, and it started out. We were able to watch the games before us leading up, and huge win for the Towson program. Even Duke maybe not the underdog. Big win at home at Homewood Field.
How about that save by Reddy on the doorstep? Beautifully done on the point-blank attempt from Schwartz, and here come the Pioneers on the clear. But Peter Barton faithful on its feet, 2,300 plus strong. Most of them supporting Crimson and Gold with a good Air Force section from Colorado Springs down the road. Canizero on the dodge. Canizero was looking to shoot the whole way and rips it wide. Backed up by French. French dispossessed. Look, it's a great look for Air Force on the other end. Unfortunately for them, they're playing defense again, and it feels like Denver has had the ball about 90% of the time from the second quarter on. I mean, do you up the intensity defensively if you're Air Force at some point, or you content to sit back for now and try to get a turnover?
I think you want a turnover, but you do have to up the intensity. I mean, this is a game that they believe that they could win. They're familiar with this team. They think the team took them a while to figure out who they were, but they came in here with a lot of confidence, beating a very good Richmond team.
Shot is wide from Donahue.
So now, you know, with a 6-goal margin in Denver's favor, Air Force is going to have to start to make chances, and especially defensively. Offensively, only been able to get 7 shots on the day. They're going to have to get more chances. Their defense is going to have to come up with some key possessions.
Real quick passing now for the Pioneers. Up top for Pace, he throws it away. Battle at the midfield line, it will be Air Force ball. And Chris Walsh with a quick trigger for the Falcons. Back-to-back SoCon Offensive Player of the Year. We have not called his name much. Or have we called the man with the ball right now, Nick Ruby. 35 goals for Ruby, 36 for Walsh. Only 1 point between them. It's a Walsh assist. Jack Flynn. Cameron Carter, a goal scorer from earlier, 35. In blue, white, and black. Here's Carter working on the short stick, Nick Phillips. The pass in front for Flynn. Dumped down low, a little bit quicker tempo for the Falcons here, down 6.
They need Ruby and Walsh to touch the ball. 0 shots for them on the day. Walsh just with 1 assist. The ball's got to be in their stick. And you got to do what has made you successful all year long. Your 2 leading scorers need more possessions.
And credit to Nolan Bergdorf Gaines, the starting defenseman for Denver. We haven't called their name much because they've not had to be called. They've been silently dominating this Air Force trio. Here is a shot from Ruby, his first of the day. It goes wide with Nick Phillips on him. It is backed up by Air Force. Ruby out of Coppell, Texas, the physical junior. Playing near the cage, number 4 for Air Force. Here's a shot and a score from Gould, his second. And maybe that's what the Falcons needed to get going. The junior midfielder stops the Denver run.
Much needed goal for Air Force. Stops the scoring drought in about 18 minutes since they last scored. You know, that's one that Denver goalie Alex Reddy wants back there. Shot, just good speed on the shot, but you can just see the reaction there. Air Force climbs a bit closer, but back at the faceoff where they need to get a key possession.
First goal since the 11:43 mark, the second for Air Force. More than 18 minutes, as you noted. Can the Falcons start winning some faceoffs? They have Harper back out there against Baptiste, and it doesn't really matter who's out there right now. There is no kryptonite currently for Trevor Baptiste. And Denver got a quick shot here from French, knocked away by Rose. Canizero was closest to it.
Love how Rose ran after that shot, though. I mean, that's what this Air Force defense is going to have to do. Try to get some possessions back.
Converted midfielder Rose, who was buried behind Doug Gushu, who was an all-conference goalie. Nearly 55% of his shots on goal were saved last year. Right now it's Walker. Midway point of this third, which has seen Denver extend its lead from 6-3 at the half to 9-4. Third midfield line for Joe Reed. Canizero looking to create separation with Jones. Walker works his way around Levine, goes low left and scores his second. Ethan Walker, the Big East Freshman of the Year, originally from Peterborough, Ontario, a standout at Culver Military Academy in Indiana, and now a star here for the Pioneers.
Movement of the ball, excellent job with the face dodge, gets the defender on his back. There's two more Air Force defenders that are sliding to him. They're not able to make a connection there. Need to get on his hands. His stick is completely free for the shot. They're going for the swinging for the checks, not playing on the body, on the stick. Walker makes it look very easy. Loved how he drove to cage on that score. Denver all day long, just offensively, just their ability to switch gears from working the ball around, the possession, wearing down the defense, and then just kicking it in, working the motion offense, and then going to go hard has really been tough for Air Force to cover.
Technical violation against Denver, beg your pardon, and this face-off will go to Air Force. Baptiste has one, by the way. Now 15 on the game. Beg your pardon, 14 wins for Baptiste, so he has tied Delaware's Steve Shaw for fourth in NCAA history. Steve Shaw played from 83 to 86 for the Blue Hens, and Baptiste with his next one will get to 15 and take over sole possession of fourth on the all-time list, again as just a junior. And now it's Air Force with Tien. Cameron Carter with a quick double, puts it away to Tien. Ruby to the doorstep. Schwartz, goal line extended.
Good ball movement for Air Force, just not able to find a good look at cage.
Here's a good one from Schwartz. He bounces it in and has his second goal. And Bill Tierney is not having it for Denver.
Schwartz had the first goal of the game, reads the defense well, and does find a great opportunity. Excellent job working behind from X, and then a little fake, just completely gets the defense a little bit of step slow. Excellent bounce shot.
It was Dylan Gaines who was on him. And on that little fake, Gaines just looked away.
Well, it looked like they were going to they kind of got them in a rhythm where they just thought they were passing the ball, working with the feed, and then him dodging and going to goal.
It's a great point because sometimes we see pass after pass after pass. You figure an offense isn't doing much, but is that what they can do? They can sort of lull you to sleep?
Well, as a defender, you got to be looking at ball and then the surrounding players where you can help. So sometimes you can overthink things.
Unsettled off the face-off win, and Air Force has a second with a flag to boot. Trent Harper, the face-off win for the Falcons, and he takes it all the way. Trent Harper with a heck of a Trevor Baptiste impression.
The goal is good. We have a live ball foul. White, 4-1, unnecessary roughness. 1 minute. We have a face-off.
The penalty against Dylan Gaines to add insult to the score. Harper's 4th of the season.
See, unnecessary roughness is the foul called, and you can just see that after the goal scored, and Coach Tierney not happy. Those are just kind of where you need to regain composure right there. Dylan Gaines being seated for the 1-minute penalty.
And Gaines was a player who drew the ire of Bill Tierney on the goal from Schwartz when he looked away and let Schwartz get free to cage. He'll be taking out some frustration here. And the faceoff will go to Denver, a man down.
Once again, a close game. If you look at just the box score, this is why stats can be so deceiving. I mean, Denver has the edge, all the categories, but Air Force has been hanging around. Two quick goals right there, brings the 4-goal game.
They've got 8 shots on goal. They have 6 goals.
I know, it just doesn't feel good for Denver. You know, they have all the opportunities and lots of chances, but things need to clean up. This is a team.
That feels good right there for Canizero.
We're scoring like that and attacking like that. That looks like a team that can contend for a national championship. But this Denver team is a team that a lot of people has a favorite. They're ranked #1 for much of the season. That spot kept rotating different teams throughout the year with so many upsets. But
well, Canizero just put in his second, the man-down goal, and Eric Saramet now is the frustrated coach.
Canizero just wide open, looks like he's dodging cones. When they do score, the placement of the shots are excellent. You see the reaction of Saramet on the sideline.
That was after the hold on the face-off. Could not believe the call, and it leads directly to the Denver face-off win, and the Canizero goal, his 3rd point of the afternoon. Baptiste against Rajinovic here for the face-off. And Baptiste again dominates. Ball is jarred loose here. And Baptiste has it on his stick, knocked down along the sideline. Going back to Denver, and again, Eric Saramet is going bonkers.
He doesn't like that push call.
It's just on the pylon. So Denver is still a man down for a bit here. And now back to even strength, 6-on-6 lacrosse again for the Pioneers. You brought up an interesting point, which is that Denver has been considered for most of this year to be one of the national championship contenders. They are the 5 seed here. Obviously, they have the best face-off man in the country. Is the shot percentage something that would unnerve you?
Well, it just at times, just when they've struggled, it seems like they go from 20% shooting to, almost close to 35%, which is excellent. When you're going against better teams as you advance, you just don't know if you're going to have those many opportunities. And Air Force, just 11 shots in the day, but converting on 6 of them is a bit concerning when they've had those chances.
We asked Bill Tierney what it took. He's seen enough championship teams. He said it's 2 things. Number 1, you have to have the talent. He thinks their top 13 are as talented as anybody. Number 2, he said you have to have the senior leadership. You have to have a guy like Matt Berg a couple of years ago, Westberg, beg your pardon, who stood up and said, I'm not going to let this team lose. They have a junior scoring here. It's Donahue. And Denver, after the little surge from Air Force, is back up 6. Connor Donahue's 2nd of the day and 10th of the season.
9th goal of the season for Donahue. Just a little shake and bake up top. Again, lots of room there. And the placement of shots, I do love. I think their shot placement is great. There's just been times where I feel like if they play better competition, those lapses when they had trouble scoring is when other teams are going to be able to get much closer. But when they're hot, they're being able to create some separation.
And again, Baptiste the edge on the faceoff, beating out Harper, who was the best faceoff man in the SoCon this year. Christian Bergdorf finds himself in the offensive area for Denver. Bergdorf, the long pole, the senior captain. Bergdorf's still out there, camped out near the crease. He's got a goal on the year, and he'll fake his exit and now head across midfield. Those defensemen just think they're the best options to handle the ball sometimes, don't they? In the second line midfield here for Denver, McCone and Flynn along with Planning. French gets the screen from Canizero. Under 3 to play now in this third quarter. Denver with 6 in the first half and 6 goals here in the third quarter.
Great matchup here.
Canizero had Flynn. And the pass goes away to the Air Force offensive half. Nice work on the ground ball, but was it a push from Bergdorf? Yes, it was. Denver back on defense, where it's allowed 6 goals again on just 11 shots, 8 on goal. Pioneers team that lost to Marquette in the Big East semis last week. Second straight year they were bounced by Marquette in the Big East tournament. Oliver Bill Tierney said during the week, either last year is going to become an anomaly or it's going to become a headache. And he said he took full responsibility. He said it was not a good coaching job by him. He took the blame after the loss to Marquette, which is the sort of thing you love to hear from a coach. It's probably not to the extent that he's putting it on his own shoulders. Do you think he's happy, though, overall, despite some of the shot percentage issues with the effort here?
I mean, the way the season has gone, any coach has to be happy with a win. You survive and advance at this point.
There's a bounce shot from Gould, his third of the game. Hat trick for the junior out of Upper Arlington, Ohio.
Gould been extremely efficient today. 3 goals on 3 shots. Just gets to the inside. The defense, just nice little move, gets his defender on the side. Shoots that with his left hand right into the defense. The defense just made contact with the stick, could have come up with the block. I think overall there's things, I mean, as a team, you're learning, and it's a growth period throughout the season. In May, you obviously want to be playing your best lacrosse, but it's a journey, and a step along the way, you're going to learn things. Is Denver playing a perfect lacrosse game? No, but have they done some excellent things? Yes, and I think that's both offensively and defensively, and at face-off, there's not really any room to improve there.
And Baptiste will win another. Couple of goals for Baptiste, but he'll leave the field here. Now, you obviously, you played 4 terrific years. You're a 4-time All-American. You probably saw teams that peaked earlier in the years than some others. How often is it that you're playing your best lacrosse this time of the year? Because I know every coach wants that to be the case.
Well, a lot of times you may be playing your best lacrosse, but not with your best players. I mean, this is the point of the season where so many people are injured, and if they're not sitting out, they're just playing through injury. So it's a way that you kind of manage that and deal. And then, now we're at a point where it's about matchups. I mean, there's so many excellent competition. We've already seen, the 2 upsets basically earlier in the day with Duke winning at Homewood Field on John Hopkins' home turf, playing away, even though the many had Duke favored, and the Towson upset over Penn State. So, I mean, really, if you talk to any coach, they'll say anyone can win. There's no real favorite.
You mentioned injuries. Sean Mayle is out for Denver, first-team All-Big East. Colton Jackson, a first-team Big East player, is in, and he scores his first goal. Well, it has been a dynamic offensive period for the Pioneers. They've scored 7 here in the third to open up again a 6-goal lead.
Jackson has been great for Denver, can really extend the defense, can shoot from out far, good placement of the shot, mixing up the different ways that Denver is scoring. Great turn back in the pass, and the defense just isn't there, isn't able to commit, just too far off.
"12 shots in the second half, 7 goals for Denver. Jackson, 21st of the year, the leading scorer in the midfield. Baptiste and Harper for the draw. And Trevor Baptiste, like clockwork, 19-4 in the faceoffs for Denver.
I love his ability not only to win possession, but there's no stall there. He just takes the ball and is able to just continue at top speed. There's no point of hesitation.
20 seconds here in the third. Denver can't hold for the final shot. Jeremy Boucher. Ethan Walker with 10. Now French. From behind the cage, French. Got to get a shot off quickly. French has it on a stick. And the save made by Rose as the period ends. 7 goals in the third for Denver. And the Pioneers have opened up a 6-goal lead, looking to avoid a repeat of last year's first round of home loss. Second in Division I wins among head coaches. He's 1 period away from number 380. 2 goals for Baptiste in the third. The Pioneers enjoy the ball. Welcome back to the first round of the NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championship, presented by Northwestern Mutual. 13-7 lead for Denver on this Mother's Day weekend. Kevin Brown, she and Stanwick Birch with you. We say happy Mother's Day to Mrs. Baptiste. Tina Baptiste, Trevor's mom, up in the crowd. Hey, happy Mother's Day to our own she and Stanwick Birch. How about this?
Who are those cute kids?
Who are those cute kids? You know them, I think?
There's Bing, Little Wick, Dory, and Minnie. Hi guys from home. They're supposed to be watching me. I don't know if they are.
I hope they are.
They always ask me to wave to them, so hi.
This is it. You get to wave now.
Yes.
Well, happy Mother's Day weekend to you.
Thank you.
And a happy Mother's Day to Doris Brown as well. Hope she's watching back home, and all the other mothers, godmothers, grandmothers, aunts out there. 6-goal lead for Denver here as we start the fourth. And Trevor Baptiste's mom has seen quite a performance from her son today. The Tewaaraton finalist wins another face-off for the Pioneers. He has won 20 of the 24 draws in the game.
First team All-American selection as a freshman. First freshman to do that since Mikey Powell at Syracuse. Once again, another first team selection as a sophomore. Likely again this year, just amazing.
It's the 17th year of the Tewaaraton Trophy. There have been 85 finalists. He's the first one ever as a face-off specialist. And you understand why. Most face-off specialists get the face-off, get off the field. We've seen Baptiste have a little bit more of a complete game today. Were you surprised at all he was one of the 5 nominees?
Yes and no. I mean, he's always been in the conversation. I mean, when people talk about the best players in the game, he's in that. And I think his impact is huge. So I have no problem with him being in it. Do I think he's going to win? Likely not. You know, I think that award I think Connor Fields right now is probably the favorite. I do wish that they announced the 5 finalists later in this. I do think that, you know, as hard a time the selection committee had trying to find who's seated where and who belongs in this NCAA tournament, I think a lot deserves to be said of who the best player in the nation is. We got to see how they perform when you're going against best competition, when the pressure's on. So I wish that list was named later.
There's Catazero, who was a finalist for the award last year. Still with the ball. We will see Connor Fields coming up after this. His Albany Great Danes, the top offense in the country, will face North Carolina as Catazero bullies his way inside. There is a flag thrown as the ball went in the net. The goal is good. Connor Catazero with a hat trick, his 33rd with the Pioneers.
Looks to be walking a little bit with a limp there after that score, but Cannizzaro got to be impressed with his leadership out there, mentoring some of the younger players.
Blues push is wiped out. We are all even.
Penalty wiped out by the score. You see that push from behind, and the goal is scored. It just pushes him inside the crease.
Kyle Richborg, the freshman, with a push from behind. And yeah, Cannizzaro moving a little bit slower. Senior out of Cazenovia, who is just about the last guy you can ill afford to lose. Nothing severe enough to take him off the field here. Harper tangled up with Baptiste, and Baptiste comes away like magic. Baptiste, a bouncer wide. He was searching for the hat trick.
I'd love to get his shot clocked. I mean, some of those have some serious speed.
Would have been his second hat trick this year. Baptiste won against Villanova earlier in the year. He'll have to settle for another face-off win as Denver has put 38 shots on, 21 on goal, and 14 past Mitch Rose.
Air Force hasn't had a lot of scoring opportunities today. Just 12 shots today, but only 2 saves for Denver. So that's just been an area that's kind of been up and down for them. He hasn't been tested that much, goalkeeper Alex Reddy, but that's an area where if he could steal a couple away, that would make Denver feel, I think, more confident if they're able to come out with this win.
Second meeting between these teams this year. The first back in February, a 14-6 win for Denver. One goal separates that score from this one with most of the whole fourth period to go. Walker bullied up high, finds his way in front, and French rips it through. Joe Matarazzo was all over Walker, but Ethan found daylight, and Austin French has a hat trick.
Just watch his great pass, just shifting the defense. Beautiful shot by French. Drops his stick low, the finish is up high. Very unselfish, working the ball to the right spot at the right time, seeing the openings.
Fred's 3 goals and an assist today, and you talk about shooting percentage. He had 21 on 40 shots coming into today. He's got 3 goals this afternoon. And yes, it is still afternoon, I think, technically, here in the mountains. It's 4:50. Evening starts at 5.
Shooting 53% coming into today. And you know what that means? You should be shooting a lot more. That's almost too good. Very impressive.
There's a turnover on the pass from Reddy, or it nearly was. Ground ball won by Dylan Gaines. Sophomore from Baltimore, Maryland. On top attack line for Denver, French 3 goals and an assist. Cannizzaro 3 goals and an assist. Walker 2 goals, 2 assists, so 4 points each. And Connor Cannizzaro told us yesterday, yeah, Walker might be a little bit nervous as a freshman. Connor was a little nervous his first couple of tournaments. Has he looked nervous to you?
Not at all. And you know, there's even playing at home. It's a huge advantage to be playing on your home turf. But for this senior class, this is the last time they're playing on their home field, and they become a little bit emotional. And sometimes as a younger player, you want to overperform and try too hard to win for the senior class that's done so much for the program. But he looks like he's got a very steady head.
Peterborough, Ontario scored 316 goals in 3 years in high school in Indiana. How about this one? Slammed in off the rebound. And no goal. Trick, no goal. It will not count for Walker.
So interference with the goalkeeper.
Good effort by Walker, yeah, right up on Mitch Rose. And the goal expertly waved off. Now Air Force, we need to go quickly. This Falcons team that 12-5 this season. Look at this, no goal in our U view.
Take a look, just reaching in the goalkeeper, Mitch Rose's possession.
Hat trick for Gould today for Air Force. He'll pass this time. And a takeaway of the stick check from Jake Nolan. Took it away from Walsh, who has had a nightmare day offensively. Credit to Nolan, Bergdorf, and Gaines, the Denver defense. Well, now are you hunting that hat trick if you're Walker, since you just had a third taken away?
You know, I think you want to make the right decisions at this time. And now it seems like Denver's playing in the groove, creating some of that separation, stringing together the goals after a monster third quarter, getting everyone involved. I mean, and this is what you want. Defense coming up with some good turnovers. This was a good first-round matchup. I mean, even though Air Force, SoCon champion, riding in with some confidence, played some great games this season, and the Denver team has a lot of respect for that. This was, one of the, when you looked on paper, which everything can go different ways, this looked like one of the easier games for Denver to win.
And they're certainly one of the heavier favorites in this first round, in part because of the big win over Air Force earlier in the season. But the Falcons have rejiggered their lineup in a lot of ways. And it's really the third period that may stand as the key one. 7-4 Denver in that period to turn a 3-goal lead into 6. It is now 8, and a couple of goals here in the fourth. Air Force team that is still in search of its first win in the main field of the tournament. They won the play-in game in 2014 over Richmond. But they are 1-4 all-time in the NCAA tournament. They've made it, though, 3 out of 4 years. Off the missed shot. Here's a rip in front, and the bouncer went wide. Jack Flynn missed it over the top. Backed up by the Falcons. It's a Denver team that is 73-4 under Bill Tierney when allowing less than 10 goals. They're on track for that right now. And if you're a believer in those sorts of numbers, how about 26-0 since John Orson's arrival as a defensive coordinator in 2015? Tian on the flip back, lost possession from Austin Smith. And here is Nolan, another ground ball. Active day for Jake Nolan, and a lovely pass to Nick Phillips on the clear. Phillips has options, he will shoot, and Rose kicks it away.
And that's one where you could use the pass there. They had numbers coming on that fast break.
Ground balls, by the way, are heavily dominated by Denver right now, 33-14. I know the shot percentage from Air Force has been high, but what has this defensive effort been like overall from Denver from what you've seen?
From Denver, I think they've done a good job. We've seen some couple key takeaways, but giving up some easier shots. I think the ball movement, though, needs to be credited to Air Force. I think they look good on offense moving the ball. They just needed more chances.
Max Planning slams in his second goal, and Planning extends the lead to 9 for Denver. He had 2 points on the whole season in 13 games. He has 2 today, and the senior's goal will lead to a timeout at 7:21 of the fourth. Bill Tierney's Pioneers don't look like they're going to be bounced into home this year.
Denver with another score. They've got the lead, 16-7.
The NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships is presented by Northwestern Mutual. We help you live life differently. And in part by Burger King. The Bacon Cheddar Ranch Crispy Chicken Sandwich, made with deliciously seasoned 100% white meat chicken filet. And the all-new 7-seater Volkswagen Atlas.
Starting tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern on ESPN, the award-winning E60 goes weekly. This week, the story of Dak Prescott, plus a chronicle of Syria's improbable quest to qualify for the 2018 World Cup. Start your Sunday with a story. E60, hosted by Jeremy Schaap and Bob Lee, streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Denver, Colorado has been a city of champions recently. This year was the hockey team. 3 goals for Jaron Lucas Savages for the Pioneers in the final. Denver was the #1 team during the bulk of the regular season. They knocked off Michigan Tech, Penn State, Notre Dame, and Minnesota Duluth. And Jim Montgomery has a championship. He's done so as a player at Maine, as a coach at Denver, and for DU, a school that obviously doesn't have a football program, is not known for basketball. It was championship number 32. They've won 23 national titles in skiing, 8 in hockey, which is one off the most of any school, and of course the 2015 title here in Lacrosse.
Amazing. It's always great to have teams winning a national title. Sometimes that energy can spread, and the hockey and lacrosse team's very close.
Yeah, Bill Tierney told us how much his players love being around the hockey team. He genuinely felt like watching the team on the ice, but also watching the way that those players carry themselves off the ice helps. I mean, hockey players in college are generally a few years older. A lot of them have played in juniors. And so for these lacrosse players, you can look up in age, you can look up in experience to that hockey team. They had some watch parties for some of the tournament games. And now the Pioneers are looking for their 2nd lacrosse title in 3 years. A long way to go. Off to a good start right now. Ball is dispossessed inside, and the ground ball taken by Jeremiah Hemme.
8 different players have scored for Denver.
Got his Aaron French with hat tricks. Walker and Donahue along with Planning with 2 goals. Baptiste has a couple. Is that the biggest positive right now, the balance for Denver?
I think the balance is excellent. You want to have emerging stars. You rely on your big guns, and you want them to have success. But the support cast, it takes a team to advance.
Hey, by the way, I got to ask, who'd you have in your hockey bracket this year?
Denver, right?
Great pick. The Nostradamus of college hockey, that's what we call you. Here's a save made by Reddy. You love to see that. Hasn't been tested that much in the game. Makes his 3rd save with a shot from Walsh.
Cannizzaro not on the field right now.
Don't see Ethan Walker out there either as the Pioneers go to the bench. This is Zach Rundberg, the junior, number 25. Chance to get some experience for some other players for Denver. And the final 5 minutes and change of this 1st round game. With a win here, this is extraordinary. This would be Bill Tierney's 22nd appearance in the quarterfinal round.
Just unbelievable. His ability to win national championship at Princeton 6 times. 1 at Denver, just amazing success as a coach.
In front, a shot hits the pipe. Came from Nate Morano and is taken away by Rose. And the Falcons will attack on a new goalie for Denver as the freshman Josh Maddie's come into the game. So 3 saves for Reddy, his day complete. It's a Denver team that has really had trouble keeping goalies healthy this year. Thankfully for them, Reddy has been healthy this season. They had to pull a 3rd goalie out of their club lacrosse team, though, earlier this year. As Air Force gets one back with the senior captain, Austin Smith.
Smith, a Colorado native, you know, just taking advantage of what the defense is giving him. Good matchup for him, strong side on a new goalie. Is able to slip that past Josh Maddie.
It's 46 career goal for Smith. One more look. Senior captain who will go down as truly a decorated Falcons player. Eric Saramed told us something that I think any coach or any player would love to hear from a coach, which is that Austin Smith is someone he can trust. As simply as that. He's a 3rd, he's a 4th midi. His brother Eric was the first player drafted in Air Force lacrosse history. for a player to have a coach say that there's someone you can trust, that's got to mean about as much as anything, doesn't it?
I think it's huge. I mean, he said really in any situation, lots of high coaching praise.
13 goals on the year as Air Force backs up the missed shot. Seeing both teams get into their benches. Falcons have brought in number 19, Barrett Anigan, the senior midi, as Anigan looks to control the ball right here. Anigan is one of a couple of Air Force players who are going into special forces as a career. Someone who got so much praise from Eric Saramat when we talked to him. He said he wanted to get him in the game. As the shot is denied, Nick Ruby with the attempt. And Anigan does get to play here, gets a few minutes of NCAA tournament experience before he begins his professional career.
Ruby and Walsh, the two leading scorers for Air Force, limited to 3 shots total between the two of them. Open net there, just narrowly missed.
Under 3 to play here for Denver, which again will face the winner of Notre Dame and Marquette. That game to noon tomorrow. Notre Dame, the 4th seed. It is not a gimme for the Irish. They are banged up. In particular, Sergio Perkovic. And it's a Marquette team that is obviously hot. Beat Denver last week in the Big East semifinals. Knocked off Providence for the Big East championship in Providence. That game noon tomorrow. The winner of that one, the winner of this one. Next week at Hofstra University in Hempstead, the winner on to championship weekend of the Final Four. Here's an open look and a low shot score. Max Planning rings up the hat trick.
What a day for Max Planning. Wide open here, just complete. He's got, it seems like, all day long to think about the placement of that shot, release it. Denver, they look very good finishing out this game, realizing a lot of substitutions have happened. But the way they scored in that third quarter made some adjustments. Third quarter is a real difference maker.
Well, with or without Northwestern Mutual, that's our planning for success today. Thank you for the courtesy chuckle. Hey, it's a goalie change for Air Force. Rose will head out, the senior. And you can start to see the emotions on these Air Force seniors. Paxton Boyer, the freshman, comes in. And we were checking on, right before that goal was scored, we were going to revisit your keys to the game. And then Max Planning so rudely interrupted us with his 3rd goal. But you look at some of these keys, trying to limit Baptiste, trying to win the ground ball battle. Denver has really dominated in both of those facets.
They have. I mean, you look at the Baptiste, 22 for 27, 12th double-digit goal. We mentioned that 10-goal mark being a key factor in terms of Denver being able to win games. They've well exceeded that.
They're 11-0 and they scored double digits this year. Air Force gets one back on the doorstep. A goal for Chet Dunstan, the freshman, his 8th of the season. The son of an Air Force lacrosse player. His father, Floyd, a 1987 graduate. And Chet is on the board in this tournament game.
Excellent ground ball here. Just with the transition, just nice fake there. A little too late for Air Force. But excellent fake there. You see on the turf there for Denver's Dylan Johnson, number 28, who limped off the field.
Well, here's the good news for Air Force. Their 3 starting attackmen, junior, freshman. They have 2 juniors and a sophomore as starting midfielders. At the polls, Plung and Hemi are both sophomores. Harper, the face-off man, is a sophomore. Rose did start as a senior for the second half of the year in goal, but you have Boyer, who started the first half as a freshman. And there's no question Eric Saramet's built a program that's built to last here. And we'll be back in some strong form with the returning talent they have, and should be expected to be one of the top contenders in the SoCon again.
Yeah, definitely some young stars, and even with the goalie situation, and one of the reasons that they liked Mitch Rose was his vocal leadership, and that's something that Boyer can learn from and put into his game.
Timeout taken by Air Force as Eric Saramet sets up the final 90 seconds. Tomorrow we start the Western Conference Finals. Out of the Bay Area, we will be there on ABC. It is a big sports weekend, not just with lacrosse today. 4 more lacrosse games tomorrow. A quadruple header on ESPNU. And on ABC, it is 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific for the Spurs and Warriors. Western Conference Finals presented by Verizon Wireless as NBA Countdown starts at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Who do you like?
I'm going to go with the Warriors.
I gave you the hockey question earlier. I'm giving you basketball now. You're going to go with the team that's 8-0, really?
Yeah. Lucky guess, right? My focus is on lacrosse right now.
That's it should be. That's what we like to hear. Here's the focus on the lacrosse bracket. So Albany, North Carolina is next. Maryland, the top seed, gets Bryant, which beat Monmouth in the play-in game. Notre Dame, Marquette tomorrow. How about the game after us? Albany, North Carolina. What do you see?
Just so exciting. I mean, that's a game that I think everyone wants to watch. I'm excited to see Connor Fields react. North Carolina, they're coming on hot after winning the ACC. They won the national championship last year. Emotional team, but I think it should be a fast, fun game.
And then Notre Dame, Marquette tomorrow, the winner of this Denver Air Force game. Again, you'd think Notre Dame, they're a little bit injury-riddled. They're playing a hot Marquette team. Irish at home, certainly the favorite. For Denver, I wonder if you want Marquette again a third time, maybe to wipe some of the taste of last week's semifinal out of your mouth, if indeed the Golden Eagles pull the upset.
I think they want them again. I don't think they felt that. I know they felt wasn't their best showing. Tired from the week before travel, back and forth. I think they'd like another crack, but Marquette, I think they have the confidence. They're a hot team. No one wants to face them, really.
Yeah, they were at Marquette the week before. They won big. They had some severe travel delays on the way back, and I will not call out the airline, which Bill Tierney called out, but they had some real delays in Chicago. Played Marquette just a few days later, again without Sean Mayle, that first-team All-Big East poll, who did not play today, but they were a little deflated because of that. Here's goal number 10 for Air Force. The Falcons getting going late. It's Dunston with his second in a row.
Dunston, the freshman on attack, gets it from the inside. Good finish with the shot. Another look, the ball movement, that's something that Air Force can take away. I think the schemes were good. Just 23 shots, coming up way short to Denver's 46 shots on the day.
Well, it seems strange not to see Trevor Baptiste out of the faceoff. Denver so dominant in the circle today. Ryan Harnish loses this one. But Denver picks up the ground ball in the final half minute of what will be a 6th first-round win for Denver in the last 7 seasons. So the Pioneers will head across the country next week. They'll go to Hempstead, New York, and Hofstra University. They will get the winner of Notre Dame and Marquette. And they will walk out the rest of this game. This was a high-flying, fast-paced game. We barely saw the shot clock turned on at all. And the Pioneers put 17 past Mitch Rose. They end Air Force's season of the first round, and they avenge last year's first-round loss. Denver is on to the quarterfinals.
Strong showing for that player, Baptiste. Excellent job on the face-off. The possessions were key. And Denver comes up with a much-needed win after losing to Marquette in the conference semifinals.
The emotion for Air Force, which ends the season at 12-6. They lose in the first round for the 2nd straight season. They make the drive up here to Denver. And the Pioneers, after a bit of a rusty first half, explode for 11 in the second half. There it is for Bill Tierney. 22 quarterfinals in a decorated career, 380 wins, only 3 behind John Danowski for the most among active Division I head coaches. It was Connor Cannizzaro with 4 points, Trevor Baptiste with a couple of goals, and a dominant effort at face-off. And Denver, they'll find out their fate tomorrow. It'll be Notre Dame and Marquette as Eric Saramet's Falcons conclude another excellent season here in the first round. Trevor Baptiste He is our Capital One player of the game today. Oh, Max Planning had a hat trick as well. And we're going to give it to Planning instead. Baptiste was good enough. He's got enough awards. He's a Tuarton.
We know your vote now. Planning, just an excellent day today. The whole offense for Denver really spreading the wealth, getting a lot of people involved.
I think we just had a Moonlight La La Land situation there. Let's get Baptiste. Well, let's open the envelope. Warren Beatty has given it to Trevor Baptiste. Trevor Baptiste has won the Capital One player of the game.
And well-deservedly. I mean, just an excellent job of winning the face-offs, the possession, sparking the transition in offense, and then scoring some monster goals. I mean, really, in the third quarter when Denver had their explosion, Baptiste started that run.
Max Planning gets the Best Actress trophy. 17-10 Denver wins. We're going to hear from that man, Trevor Baptiste, when we return. First game of the upper bracket is complete. The win 17-10 for Denver over Air Force. The Pioneers get the winner of Notre Dame and Marquette. That game tomorrow, noon Eastern, here on ESPNU. Well, another huge day for Trevor Baptiste. Dominant effort at the face-off. And a couple of goals as well for the Pioneers, for the Tuarton finalist. 11 on the season for this Denver team. And here is Trevor Baptiste, the winner for Denver. 17-10 again, the final. Trevor, a great day for you at the X. I know you're out of the field a lot. I know you watched a lot of film. This matchup with Trent Harper, where did you feel like you could take advantage of him in Air Force?
I mean, realistically, Trent's a really good face-off guy, and I feel like when we went against him in the beginning of the year, he was just really coming into himself, and I feel like he didn't take too many face-offs. And this year he came back really with a lot of experience and exposure. So he definitely battled hard. He's a really good face-off guy.
Trevor, last week losing to Marquette, rebounding this game right now, seniors winning last time they're playing on the turf. What was the difference in the play tonight coming out with the win?
I think just the intensity, really. Yeah, I feel like coming off a loss, you kind of look back and you gotta regroup and kind of do the little things right. And I think that we really focused on that all week, and we executed today.
Was there something said in the locker room, Trevor, because you guys came out and just blitzed him in the second half?
I think just the message of staying hungry. Going into halftime, it was still a really close game, and it was really anyone's game, and they battled really hard, and Air Force is always in great shape. So just the message of staying at it was really what we talked about.
Well, listen, maybe you can get a hat trick next week, all right?
Yeah,
Hey, great game, Trevor. Congratulations and good luck in Hempstead.
Thank you so much.
Trevor Baptiste, a couple of goals, a big face-off day for Denver. 17-10. Look at the dominance of the face-off. 23 of 27. That's why he's the first face-off man nominated for the Tuarton.
Just excellent performance. It just shows you how performance is so key. And when you've got somebody as dominant as Baptiste, it gives you a huge advantage.
So that's all from us here in Denver. It's a 17-10 final for the Pioneers over Air Force. First round action continues. The marquee matchup of the day, maybe the first round, is coming up at 7:30 Eastern, about 10 minutes from now, with the defending champs North Carolina visiting 8th-seeded Albany, the highest scoring offense in the nation. After the break, Anish Shroff and Quinn Kesenick are in the studio to get you caught up on all of today's college lacrosse action.
Playoffs. The old motto says win or go home. But the simpler truth, these players are home. This is where they've grown up.
Jake Withers, one of the best in the country.
The endless hours, the long mornings. These fields mark their years. These games count their seasons. From the first stick they gripped to the last goal they scored. Win or go home? No. They're already here.
Salcido with faith and a goal.
They just want to stay a little longer.
Ryan Treader, acceleration, domination.
Fields goes behind the back. What a pretty assist.
Reeves gonna dodge. Finds, gets hands free and scores.
There goes Canizero. In front, shot, scores! It beats the buzzer!
Tinney, he's got the goalie here. He's got him! He's got him! He's got him! Joel Tinney with the hidden ball trick!
Rambo turns and scores! Point number 200.
Ryder Garnsey with the biggest goal of his career.
The journey begins now.
And with that, we welcome you to the first round of the 2017 NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. An in-state rivalry from Denver, Colorado, the 5th seed Pioneers, the 2015 national champions, and the Air Force Falcons from just about an hour down the road in Colorado Springs. The winner of this game is off to Hofstra University next week to get the winner of Notre Dame Marquette. That game tomorrow will be followed in our quadruple header by Albany and North Carolina. And before the game, we were in the Air Force locker room with the head coach of the Falcons, Eric Seremets.
One last thing. This is a journey, right? Yep. This is not my story. This is not just your story. This is our story, right? It's another day in the journey. Let's get ready to get after it tomorrow as well. Here we go.
Here we go, boys. Here we go. Got your back on 3. 1, 2, 3. Got your back.
And we say good afternoon from Denver, Colorado. Kevin Brown with 4-time All-American Sheehan Sandwick Birch. There is a whiff of deja vu in the air for Denver, and the Pioneers are hoping it's only a whiff. Last year they lost to Marquette in the Big East final and lost in the first round to Towson. This year's team lost to Marquette in the Big East semis last week. We hope that they've learned their lesson. If you're a Denver fan, what's the outlook for the Pioneers?
It should be good. I mean, as you said, hopefully they've learned their lesson. Coach Tierney of Denver has excellent success in May, 7 national championships, and he feels like his team's in a good spot.
Well, they're the best face-off man in the nation. That's a good way to start it off. Trevor Baptiste, the first ever face-off specialist nominated for the Tuarton Trophy.
He's absolutely incredible. Winning face-offs at 74%, does an excellent job winning it to himself, and is a threat in transition, 11 points on the season. If the Air Force is going to have the chance, they're going to have to try to limit him somehow and get the ball to make it a 50-50 possession.
And when Baptiste wins the ball, that means Connor Canizero can get to work. Big part of the 2015 national champion and one of the top attackmen of the country.
He was a Tuarton finalist last year, left off the list this year, which may fuel his fire. Excellent goal scorer, so quick, really a leader out there, and has been phenomenal for the younger players on the attack, really stepping up as a mentor.
So for Air Force, here's the big question. How do you stop that guy? It starts with Brandon Jones. He's a captain as a sophomore, which for this academy is extraordinary.
In a school full of leaders, it shows just how special Brandon is to the team, does an excellent job, anchors the number 5th defense in the nation, 25 calls, turnovers. He's got a tough assignment with the Denver offense.
Air Force in the blue, Denver in the crimson and gold white jerseys. This is a rematch of an earlier meeting this year. Denver won in its season opener 14-6. And it is time to play lacrosse. Our referee, Doug Donovan, Peter Buchanan, our umpire, and Dennis Windsor, the field judge. It is Baptiste, number 9, the face-off specialist for Denver, 73.6% on the year. Baptiste against Trent Harper, who's a terrific face-off man in his own right. And it looks like Air Force will come away with the first face-off of the game. So 1 for 1 for the Falcons in that regard. A team that makes the NCAA tournament for the 2nd consecutive year. They won the SoCon automatic bid, 12-5 overall. They've won 5 games in a row. And it is an Air Force team looking for its first quarterfinal appearance in school history. Falcons are working in with Chris Walsh.
It's a big win for Air Force to get that first possession, but as Coach Tierney told us, not unusual for Baptiste to lose maybe the first couple till he gets in a rhythm. He's excellent at making adjustments.
Air Force 11 goals per game on the year, middle of the pack in the NCAA. Chris Walsh, number 12, is their leading scorer. 62 points, the all-time leading scorer in Academy history. This is Cameron Carter, the sophomore, as the Falcons working around against a traditionally strong Bill Tierney Denver defense. Carter will start from up top. Down the alley and feeds in behind. Falcons winners over Richmond 9-6 last week in Richmond. Playing the SoCon automatic bid. Here's the first shot of the game. It is knocked away from Cameron Carter. And a ground ball taken by Denver's Jake Nolan. gets ready, the Denver goalie, the sophomore, the netminder for the Pioneers. They will clear it across the midfield line with Tyler Pace. How dynamic can this Denver offense be, not just with Canizero, but with the freshman Ethan Walker?
He's been phenomenal. I mean, they are so tough to stop, do an excellent job in their shooting percentage, very tough to cover, great ball movement.
Pioneers 11-3 this year, 5-0 in the Big East. Again, the loss to Marquette last week in the Big East semifinals in Providence. They had come into that game on a 6-game win streak. Austin French behind the cage. French, number 4, throws it high. And a turnover for a Denver team that had a few too many of those in the loss last week.
The turnover is definitely an area of concern, especially when you're into May play. We'll see it happen right back the other way. Those are just errors that you cannot make, and it's the NCAA tournament time, so jitters can be there, but you have to make sure you clean up that play.
Thrown over the head of Mitch Rose, the senior in net for Air Force, who began this year as a defensive midfielder, and about halfway through the season took over the starting goalie reins, and he has done so more than admirably. Austin French, 21 goals and 16 assists, the sophomore, the third man with Canizaro, number 40, and Walker, 57, the outstanding freshman with 60 points on that top attack line. Tyler Pace in possession right now for the Pioneers. Pace works around his man, shoots it high, and is backed up by Canizaro. Here's the matchup, Canizaro guarded by the sophomore Brandon Jones. Do you expect that to be the primary one-on-one battle?
They'll try to work that as much as they can, Air Force. They'd like to shut Canizaro down. It's very hard to do, tough cover, so they'll see if it works, but he's the top guy for Air Force.
Canizaro on a 55-game point streak, longest in the country. Kept out behind the cage right now and takes the feed from Colton Jackson. Canizaro searching with Jones on him. The roll around for Canizaro, and the shot never made it through. Ground ball picked up by Air Force. Joe Matarazzo, defense admitting for the Falcons, sprints into the box. So for Air Force offensively, knowing especially that you're coming into this game against a team that beat you by 8 earlier in the year, what do you expect the pace to be for the Falcons?
I think they'll try to work the time of possession in their favor. You can only do so when you have Denver in close range in terms of scoring. But I think they'll be very smart. But as we mentioned with Baptiste at the faceoff, you have to value every possession, even more so when you have someone as talented as Denver's Baptiste, because you never know when you're going to get the ball back again. So your goalie's got to play strong. You got to be very smart offensively.
Grant Gould with a quick feed for Jack Flynn, sophomore second-line midfielder. Austin Smith, the captain. Around it comes to Gould. He could not hang out of the pass. Knocked away from him, and the loose ground ball does get picked up by Gould. Colin Squires defensively in the way. And we should mention here, Squires, 39. The freshman is playing because Sean Mayle, the first-team all-conference long stick midi, is out. Suffered a lower body injury leading up to the Marquette game. It's a big blow for Denver. It's one of the reasons why Marquette got him last week. Up top, here's a fake by Flynn.
Yeah, the absence of Mayle is huge.
First shot of the game is in for Air Force's Matthew Schwartz, the freshman with his 12th goal of the season.
This all started with great defense on Air Force's end. Canizaro coming around. Good stop and the transition down. The slide comes in and just quickly ball movement, working that Denver defense. Great placement of the shot.
It's the third man on that attack line, Schwartz. They call him their little jitterbug. On with top point scorers Chris Walsh and Nick Ruby. And here's the first face-off win for Baptiste. 825th of his career, the 5th most in history. Oh, by the way, he's only a junior. But it's hard to fathom the sort of success that he's had. But when you look at Trevor, when you talk to him, he's such a big, strong, athletic guy. You understand it as he will come off the field here for substitution. Austin French finds Walker, his first shot just wide to the left.
Nice look on Cage.
What do you like about Ethan Walker?
You know, he's just had a phenomenal season. He's really done a great job just getting open to the right spaces, works well within the offense. I mean, when you have Connor Cannizzaro to learn from, he doesn't play like a freshman, that's for sure.
33 goals, 27 assists. Actually, their leading scorer by 3 points over Cannizzaro, who has taken a little bit more of a mentor role. And Bill Tierney told us he sacrificed a few points so the freshman could score some of his. Here's a shot for Planning. Max Planning, the senior from Alexandria, Virginia, with Denver's first. Austin French, the assist as Planning puts in his second goal of the season.
The Denver, the ball movement is so great. Doesn't get stuck in anybody's stick, working it around. Excellent job by Planning. He's got the space to really pick his corner. Look at the room here. The defense just does not get on there. Nice off-stick placement of the shot.
Only 1 goal, 1 assist for Max Planning coming in, but this is his time of the year. He was a big contributor a couple of years ago, and Denver won that national title. A goal and an assist in the quarterfinal win over Ohio State. And the senior has knotted it up early. Baptiste beats Harper for the faceoff. Well, he made it look easy there.
He just has an excellent craft, just does an excellent job winning it to himself. He's so quick on just moving the ball, getting it down transition. You can see how important this is. It's basically make it, take it when he's at the X.
17 years of the Tewaaraton Trophy, 85 finalists. Baptiste is the first one as a faceoff specialist. Around comes Austin French to put Denver in the lead. And back-to-back faceoff wins for Baptiste lead to back-to-back goals. French, who had the assist last time, puts it through.
It starts when they win the faceoff for Denver, and French just does an excellent job working his man, comes around, ambidextrous shooter, gets his stick low, opens himself up. You can see the defender, he's behind him right now. It's exactly what you want as a shooter. Get your hands free.
170-pound sophomore from Danville, California. 22 goals, 17 assists for French now in the year.
He's done an excellent job shooting 53% on the season, which is amazing.
And Baptiste, another one-on-one face-off win. No help from the wings. He's doing it all himself early. Walker guarded by Nicholas Accardi, the senior. As Denver, they can do this to you. They can grind out possession after possession with Baptiste's success. Nearly 74% of his face-offs, and he has won 3 in a row. Danny Logan, the freshman, is on right now for the Pioneers. Short stick defensive midi will head to the other side of the field. Colton Jackson, first team Big East midfielder, number 10. Sort of player that when we talked to Bill Tierney, we said, who do the coaches know, maybe that the fans don't, as one of your key contributors? He pointed out Jackson, number 10 right now near the crease. Donahue down the alley. Cannizzaro stumbles and gets the ball back, again hounded by Jones. This is Connor Donahue, second team Big East midfielder. Ahead for Jackson. Jackson around the long pole, off the outside of the pipe. And out of bounds it will be Air Force ball. So look at Eric Saramet, the 9th-year head coach here at Air Force. He has a little bit of history with Bill Tierney as a player. Obviously, as a coach, the two have met off time and time again. Eric was part of the 1992 North Carolina team that lost to Bill Tierney's Princeton Tigers. The year before, Saramet and the Tar Heels were 16-0 national champs in '91. And what a wonderful job he's done with this program. Andrew Tian, who had a hat trick in the SoCon final. The short stick on him. Christian Thomas. This is thrown through. Tian has space. Fakes his way in, and the save made point blank by Reddy. Austin Smith the ground ball to keep it with Air Force. How important is Nick Reddy if Denver needs to go on another championship run?
Let's take a look at the replay here. The defense was a little off balance. He did an excellent job pressuring out, but left Air Force wide open for that shot. Big stop by Reddy.
And a turnover taken by the pole of Jake Nolan. Nick Phillips. This is where Walker is so dangerous. And will slow it down for the Pioneers, who have scored the last 2 goals, Planning the first and French the second. Right now it's a second midfield for Denver. Quinn McCone, Connor Flynn, and Planning. 2, 18, and 22. Pioneers will run 3 midfield lines. McCone, the sophomore from California, with a goal on the year. It's a screen for Walker.
Lefty, top side, bro.
French hit up high, did not draw a flag. Walker in front, quick stick French. Yes, indeed. Second goal for Austin French and a nifty feed from Walker.
Ball movement has been spectacular for Denver, working the entire defense. Great play, Cannizzaro gets it behind. Walker with the quick pass, and French with a beautiful finish with the quick stick.
The NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships is presented by Northwestern Mutual. We help you live life differently. And in part by 84 Lumber. Ready to build you? 84 is hiring. Apply online. And the all-new 7-seater Volkswagen Atlas.
3-1 lead for Bill Tierney's Denver Pioneers. 8th-year head man at 2U, 33rd-year legendary coach, who has seen this Air Force team once this year. Back on February the 11th in the season opener between the two teams, Trevor Baptiste dominant, 15 for 18 in faceoffs, plus this goal. Nate Morano scored as well for the Pioneers. Connor Cannizzaro, 4 goals, 2 assists, and the freshman Ethan Walker with a hat trick in his Denver debut. 14-6 the Pioneers. That was February 11th. This is not February 11th, Sheehan Stanley-Bird. For 3 months after that, it's May the 13th. How much does that game matter now?
Not much. I mean, it gives you some fuel to fire for Air Force, realizing that they lost, didn't put on the great showing. But when we talked to Coach Saramit from Air Force, he said that this team has drastically changed. They're playing with a different goalie, a different guy at the faceoff. So many pieces have changed. And for Denver, they got a lot of, coming off that Marquette loss. That is huge, losing the conference championship. So it's a clean slate once you hit the NCAAs.
Well, you mentioned the goalie change. There he is, number 10, Mitch Rose, senior from Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania, who was recruited as a goalie, came here, though, and ended up playing defensive midfield. As Eric Saramit told us, we like to utilize our talent as much as we can in any spots. And Paxton Boyer, the freshman, started the year. They felt Rose gave him a better chance. He asked the coaches if he could get a shot. In the Jacksonville game on March 25th on, he's been the guy.
He has, and he said the defense has responded really well. He's very vocal in cage and just does an excellent job directing the defense. And part of that, he thinks, is because his ability when he's playing as a practice player, as a short stick defensive midfielder, that really helped him see the defense and understand it more.
Rose watching French now, who has 2 goals and an assist. The sophomore number 4 has contributed to all 3 Denver scores. There's Connor Donahue. He'll work his way around the long pole of Jeremiah Hemme. 6'5", that is an exceptionally long pole. Hemme 0 for Air Force from Louisville, Kentucky. Has bounced away from Colton Jackson and recollects. As you might expect with the Air Force Academy, it's a team that has players all over Maryland, Texas, Minnesota in the attack. Ohio, Maryland, California as the 3 starting midfielders. And those from all the way in Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania. The longest distance is Nicholas Accardi, 31 on defense. He's from Rocky Point, New York, about 1,900 miles from here in Colorado. Connor Donahue. French, the facilitator. Canizero thought about a shot. And the shot clock is on for the first time today. 30 seconds. In front, Walker denied. Oh, Rose got in the way and took away what looked to be a sure goal for Walker.
Beautiful vision for Canizero, but excellent job for Mitch Rose, just standing tall, coming up with that save.
Doesn't look like he's only been playing goalie for a month and a half, does he? What a save by Rose. 504 save percentage coming in, 7-2 for the Falcons down the stretch.
Take another look, just excellent job reading that shot, the quick clear out. I love Saramit's viewpoint, though, when you have players buried in the depth chart that utilize in different ways, get them onto the field and play, and he wanted to make an impact, went in the coaching's office and asked for a look at goalie, and he proved his point.
Falcons are moving it quickly now, part of a motion offense that Eric Saramet drastically reworked right before the season in February. So they were working on something all off season. They just realized they didn't have the personnel that fit, so it's more of a free-flowing, less structured offense now. And it's led the Falcons to their second straight tournament. Nifty dodge here and a score. It's Grant Gould, the junior, with his 25th of the year, and that stops a 3-0 Denver run.
Much needed goal scored for Air Force. This is probably the best their offense has looked this game. Moving the ball well, dodging, just excellent job, just getting space, getting a good look in the cage. We're 3 o'clock here now in Denver time, and the sun is at an interesting spot in the sky. Could be an issue for the goalkeepers.
And for those back east, don't forget we're on Mountain Time here. Game started at 3 local. You saw an entire table of sunscreen out in front of the Air Force locker room. Well done, have to lather up. Is it the goalies that affects most, you think, the sun right now?
The passes can be an issue for some of the players on the field, but definitely the goalies. I mean, they really have to see. As a player, you can kind of position yourself. If you can't see the ball, you should not be asking for the ball. The goalies, they really have no choice.
Another face-off win for Trevor Baptiste. He's midfielder of the year. Denver has dominated in that category earlier. 5-1 with the face-offs and 5 in a row for the Pioneers. Really wide spacing right now for Denver. Pioneers who have Matt Brown in control of the offense. 11th year assistant here at Denver, 2005 graduate. You hear a lot about Matt Brown's offense and the way it flows. What does it mean to you when you think of a Matt Brown coach Denver team?
Really just lots of movement, whether it's screens, picks, just lots of people moving the ball, unselfishness, working it around.
Donahue had his shot knocked away, and then Rose comes up with a big save on the whip from French.
And lots of shots. This Denver offense likes to shoot.
Pioneers 6th in the NCAA, nearly 13.5 goals per game. Among tournament teams, only Albany and Penn State have scored more, although the Nittany Lions had just 8 today and a loss to Towson. It's the 3rd game in our quadruple header. Towson beating Penn State on the road in the first game. Duke, the road team, knocked off Johns Hopkins in the second. Denver hoping to stop the bleeding for home teams here in the first round. And they have that fabulous nightcap, Albany, North Carolina, coming up after our game. The defending champs on the road in Albany.
Air Force playing a man-to-man defense. One of the keys that they thought was going to be to stop Denver is to get on the players' hands so they couldn't really pass inside, pressure out.
Canizero pressured by Jones. That shot gets away. It is backed up by French. What do you think of this man-to-man style so far?
Well, it's slowing Denver down right now, and I don't know if that's by design of what Denver wants to do, working the ball. It's a nice long possession.
That's the end of an exciting first quarter of lacrosse. Air Force had the bookend goals. Denver with a 3 sandwiched in between. 2 goals and an assist for Austin French. The Pioneers hoping to avoid another first-round flameout, leading by 1 at home. Tomorrow tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, 1:30 Mountain on ABC. The Warriors and the Spurs game, one of the Western Conference Finals, presented by Verizon Wireless. Countdown crew gets it all started 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, and both streaming live on the ESPN app. And watch ESPN. Warriors 8-0 in the playoffs right now. This will certainly be their toughest test to date. Kevin Brown, Sheehan, Stanwick, Birch. Your keys to the game so far, Sheehan, what do you got?
Well, for Denver, Baptiste at the faceoff, and he's been excellent so far, winning 5 out of 6. And attack as usual. This Denver offense, number 7 in the nation shooting with 34%. Denver has the advantage this game. They're a bit under that shooting percentage. And Air Force, they've got to be thrilled with having a 1-goal game headed in second quarter. Win ground ball battle. If they're not going to win the faceoffs, you're going to have to come up with some extra possessions, whether that's saves or cause turnovers. And then they're going to need to have their goalie, Mitch Rose, have a huge game in goal. Double-digit saves.
All right, it's now 6-1 Denver in faceoffs. It's 7-4 Denver in ground balls. Yet Air Force is only down 1. Why?
They should be thrilled. Just put Denver shooting. Just when even though the faceoff doesn't guarantee a score. So 11 shots in the day for Denver, 3 goals scored, and an opportunity for them to improve.
Three-2 lead for the Pioneers, the 5th seed. In the first round of the NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championship, Kevin Brown, 4-time All-American, Sheehan, Stanwick, Birch. Austin French, 2 goals and an assist for the Pios in that first quarter. Max Planning has 1. Matthew Schwartz, Grant Gould have the tallies for Air Force. Denver in the crimson and gold, works it down low, and the shot goes wide from Tyler Pace. Race to the ball, a dive from the Air Force defenseman Roland Wheeler, and it will stay with Denver. Connor Donahue, the junior, trigger from behind the cage. Donahue dances around. Oh, Connor Donahue! Nifty move for a Denver goal.
Donahue from behind, nice matchup here, gets a step, backhanded shot. Excellent placement. Don't think Mitch Rose was expecting that at all. Just great placement of the shot and understanding he had to step on his defender.
21 points for Donahue, who really grew into a key contributing role at the end of last season. Found himself in the Big East second team this year, and he is part of that terrific first midfield for Denver. Josh Rajitovich, the second faceoff man, is out for Air Force now, as Baptiste has won 6 in a row against Trent Harper, and Baptiste comes up with this one. Baptiste will take it in on the feed. Long pole shot is wide from Colin Squires, backed up by Denver.
You can just see how dangerous Baptiste is there, being able to win the possession, comes down, can dish it off, good scoring opportunity, and then Denver gets another chance.
What are you seeing so far with him on the faceoffs? Why is he winning so many?
He's just so fast. I mean, it's hard to tell what he's doing, but just does an excellent job. He's so strong in there. No one's been able to figure him out. And what I think is so interesting is since day one, he's never had to learn this position. He came in and he's gotten better. And his coach has said, you know, he's had to work on his craft, and he's a tireless worker out there. But he's been in the conversation for one of the best players in the nation and being just an impact player since he stepped onto Denver's field.
He's won 10 or more faceoffs in all 49 of his games coming into today. He told us yesterday he had played everything on the field, but he was never a faceoff man until his sophomore year of high school. His coach said, you know, I think you'd be good at it. He took it over, and his faceoff win here leads to a goal from Jeremy Boucher. 8th goal of the season for the junior from British Columbia.
Denver is feeling it offensively. Just great job by Boucher here, getting a little step into the inside. The placement of the shots is key, the non-stick side. Good looks here. The slide's a bit slow for Air Force. Got to come in faster, try to shut them off. And if you told me that Connor Cannizzaro would not have a point at this point of the game, I'd be very surprised. But this is great news, actually, for this Denver team. You don't want to have all the pressure on one person. And obviously, the focus defensively is always trying to shut Cannizzaro down. And other people stepping up is a great thing.
No, Bill Tierney told us when we talked to him earlier in the week as well,
that if there's something that can go wrong with Connor Cannizzaro sometimes, it's that he cares so much. Sometimes he tries to put the team on his shoulders. He must love this. The fact that Cannizzaro has not scored, and yet the Pioneers lead by 3 as we get a violation. Beg your pardon, a timeout taken by Air Force. First one of the half for Eric Saramet and his Falcons with possession down 3 here in the first half. On the sideline with the Air Force Academy, a team that is as close as any that you'll find here in college lacrosse, a team that really came together for head coach Eric Saramet a few years ago. They were bonded by tragedy. October 5th of 2013, Eric was driving, he and his wife Sonia, his 2 kids, on a family trip, swerved off the road. His wife Sonia killed in a car accident, a single car accident. Eric said that year was, as it turned out, the year he did the least amount of coaching. His senior class picked him up. They ended a 25-year tournament drought. They became, he said, sort of surrogate fathers to his daughters, Annabelle and Amelia. And 4 years later, she and they are still as close as any team could be.
Such a tragic story, but just shows, how important team is, and especially at these military academies, they bonded together, a real kind of brotherhood. And after the breakup, each huddle, we heard it in the open, in their locker room, they all chant, "Got your back," and that stems from after that horrible tragedy.
Yeah, we're certainly thinking about Sonia, especially on this Mother's Day weekend. And the Falcons keep her and that family in their thoughts every time they break the huddle. Air Force back on offense after the timeout. Falcons down 3 here in the second period. The goals have come from Matthew Schwartz and Grant Gould. Chris Walsh and Nick Ruby held to just 1 combined assist so far, the top 2 scorers. Gould will work it from up top. Draws a short stick at Thomas. Mr. Thomas, a redshirt senior. There's a check from Dylan Gaines, who knocked down Walsh, but legally so. Now behind Carter. Gould trying to take it down the alley, again cut off by Thomas. No clean looks in this possession for the Falcons. On the dodge, here's his shot to score. It's Cameron Carter, a sophomore from Baltimore, with his 11th of the season.
Carter was transitioned from a midi, from an attackman. We had a perfect view here, right behind him from where our booth is. Saw him coming down. That top left corner was wide open. Great placement of the shot. Excellent finish for Carter.
Eric Saramet couldn't have said enough good things about Cameron Carter. Loves the way he can dodge and separate and attack down the alley. Exactly what we see as Carter picks up his 22nd point of the year. Again, Rajinovic, who won the last one.